Discipline starts in the home. Kids don't always respond to reason alone, especially when they're little. Gentle parenting. Your kid's pushing every button you've got, and you're supposed to stay calm? Ask questions and explain things patiently? Look, man, I've been there. They're not always going to sit down and have a gentle chat. You can't expect to have an adult conversation with a 4-year-old who's on full meltdown mode. Sometimes you just want to throw the whole gentle thing out the window and go old school on their ass. We're human and we're going to lose our cool sometimes. One of the best things I learned from my own father that I do with my kids, he always, and I mean always, to this day, apologizes when he loses his temper. I love you, Dad. If our kids don't learn about boundaries and respect for authority at home, they're sure to struggle with it later on in life. Sometimes they just need to see consequences. Our kids just need us to be ourselves more than they need us to be gentle all the time.
Meet Raffy Zamora, founder of the Legendaddy community, a global hub empowering dads to lead, mentor, and inspire. Known for his authentic voice in parenting, Raffy blends humor and heart to redefine fatherhood. He's inspiring dads to create unforgettable memories and lead by example.
So, my wife loves sending me these reels on Instagram about gentle parenting.
Let's go to the fight, Dylan.
Okay.
It's okay, buddy. Just take 3 deep breaths and it'll be fine.
I feel better.
If you've never heard about it, it's a new approach to raising kids, mainly centered on talking things out, staying calm, and explaining everything. Sounds great, right? But let's be real. If you've tried it, you probably know that it doesn't always work out like it sounds. Look, man, I've been there. You're in the middle of a situation and your kid's pushing every button you've got, and you're supposed to stay calm, ask questions, and explain things patiently? Sometimes you just want to throw the whole gentle thing out the window and go old school on their ass. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some very good ideas here. But the truth is, gentle parenting on its own doesn't always cut it in the real world. Here's the first thing I've learned. Kids, they need boundaries. They're little explorers by nature, always testing out limits to figure out what they can get away with and what they can't. I call this kids just gonna kids. If we're just talking and explaining without actually setting clear boundaries, kids end up confused and just pushing harder. When they can get away with things because we're too gentle, they start thinking boundaries don't really matter. In school, with friends, and eventually out in the world, they need to know where those thick red lines are. Boundaries help them feel secure and give them a sense of right and wrong. And here's the kicker. Sometimes they just need to see consequences. Kids don't always respond to reason alone, especially when they're little. They don't always understand explanations the way we wish they did, especially when they're throwing a fit. You can't expect to have an adult conversation with a 4-year-old who's on full meltdown mode. At some point, consequences work better than words alone. Sometimes a timeout or taking away screen time gets the message across better than any pep talk that you can give. Plus, if we're being honest here, trying to be calm and patient every single time can wear you out. I know gentle parenting expects us to handle every tantrum with grace, but after a long day, that's a big ask. Look, we're human and we're going to lose our cool sometimes. I used to feel guilty every time I did. But now I realize that kids need to see that we're human too. They're not looking for perfect. They're looking for real. And they learn from watching us handle our real emotions. So if you lose your temper once in a while, don't beat yourself up about it. One of the best things I learned from my own father that I do with my kids was that he always, and I mean always, to this day, apologizes when he loses his temper, no matter what the situation. I love you, Dad. And if we are to teach how to be gracious, we must learn to ask for grace too. So apologize if you need to, explain it if it helps, but know that it's not the end of the world if you're not gentle all the time. Something else I've learned is that every kid is different. Some kids respond to the gentle approach. Sure, talking it out, working through their feelings works well for them. But some kids need more direct guidance. Some kids need a more structured approach. They do better when you tell them, this is the rule, these are the consequences. That's fine. Parenting isn't a one-size-fits-all. If one of your kids responds to the gentle explanations and the other one needs more structure, don't feel bad for adapting your approach. At the end of the day, they're all just learning from us, but in very different ways through very different lenses. There's also the reality that our kids are going to face rules and boundaries and authority from other people throughout their lives. Schools, teachers, coaches, bosses. They're not always going to sit down and have a gentle chat. If our kids don't learn about boundaries and respect for authority at home, they're sure to struggle with it later on in life. It's on us to help them understand that there are times to ask questions and there are times to shut up and follow the rules. Discipline starts in the home. So here's my takeaway. There's good stuff in gentle parenting, but balance is key. Be patient? Sure. Talk to them? Absolutely. Show empathy. But don't be afraid to set firm boundaries and don't feel guilty if you need to lay down the law every now and then. Your kids need you to be the adult in the room. Kids need both. They need our understanding, but they also need to know that we're in charge and that there are rules and expectations and that those rules matter. You are their father first and their friend second, not the other way around. And in the end, we're just trying to do our best to raise good and decent people, right? It's a tough job and none of us are going to get it perfectly right every single time. So please, give yourself some grace. Trust your gut, find a balance that works for you and your family, and don't feel pressured to be some kind of perfect parent. They don't exist. Our kids just need us to be ourselves more than they need us to be gentle all the time. So let's chase progress, not perfection. And that's it for me, folks. I'll see you next week, legends. This has been Raffy Zamora for PGMN. Peace out.